Floods in Myanmar killed at least 226 people in just over a week, state media reported Tuesday, as heavy rains from Typhoon Yagi devastated the country's central provinces. Around a third of Myanmar's 55 million people are already in need of humanitarian aid, following incessant conflict triggered by a Feb. 2021 coup when the powerful military unseated the civilian government of Nobel laureate Aung San Suu Kyi. The areas hardest hit by the flooding include the second-largest city of Mandalay, the capital Naypyidaw, and parts of Shan State, a sprawling province that has seen heavy fighting in recent months. Some 77 people are still missing, state media said. A total of 388 relief camps were opened in 9 regions and states, and the well-wishers donated drinking water, food and clothes, reported the Global New Light of Myanmar, the newspaper of the military government. In the Mandalay region alone, some 40,000 acres of agricultural land were submerged and some 26,700 houses were damaged by the heavy rains and flooding. According to the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, OCHA, the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, also said many flood-hit regions were difficult to reach as several roads were damaged and telecoms and electricity networks disrupted. Affected areas include camps for displaced people, including children, who were already struggling with limited services due to ongoing conflict, UNICEF said in a statement. Flooding and landslides across Myanmar triggered by the remnants of Typhoon Yagi have killed at least 160 people, according to data compiled by Radio Free Asia, bringing widespread suffering to a country already racked by war and a stalling economy. Most victims were in Shan State, but central areas near the city of Mandalay, the capital Naypyidaw and Bago, as well as parts of Kaya State in the east and Mon State in the south, were inundated by floods that in many places rose to rooftops, residents told RFA. The death toll of 160 was compiled from reports from residents and various social organizations, but many people said the toll is likely to be much higher. Some social media users on accounts loyal to the ruling military said that 230 people were killed in the Mandalay region alone and that dozens were missing in southern Shan State. The junta that seized power in a 2021 coup has not released a death toll. The military is struggling to hold territory in the face of an onslaught by ethnic minority groups and their pro-democracy allies, who are now in charge of a growing area and population, raising questions about the disaster response and relief resources. We simply don't have enough people to help victims, said an emergency responder in the Bago area who said at least 30 villages in Tongu Township, which is under junta control, had been completely submerged after the swollen Satang River burst through flood barriers. Currents are flowing very quickly, said the responder, from a group called the Save the Trees Rescue Team, who declined to be identified as speaking to the media. In Tongu, a monastery has been taking in displaced people and providing some food, said another resident, who also declined to be identified. More than 300 flood victims from 6 villages have been accepted at the monastery, but there are still villages cut off, he said. The Ethnic Karenni Nationalities Defense Force, or KNDF, announced Friday that 18 medics from various rebel groups were drowned and swept away by floodwaters during a medical training session in Karenni State on Wednesday afternoon, and that it would conduct an investigation into the incident. Meanwhile, people from 6 villages in Mandalay region's Yamthan Township have been trapped for 4 days after landslides blocked roads, residents told RFA, adding that food supplies are running dangerously low. Around 60 people were killed when a wall of earth careened down an area mountainside on September 10, they said. Several townships across the Naypyidaw administrative region were also in urgent need of aid and rescue efforts, volunteers there said.